Hello guys, why am I taking my jumper off? It's so you can see my merch. You guys always wear your merch. That's right, we do always wear our merch because it's so comfy. So good, hot cotton, 100% inspiration for practice.
We just weirded out like 90% of potential new viewers. It's just like, I think I'm the wrong section of YouTube.
This is the first misconception of classical music.
This is what happens when you practice 40 hours a day. You lose your sanity slowly but surely. It just goes out the window. Welcome to an episode of Two Set Violin. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 biggest misconceptions about classical music. As classical violinists of 21, 22 years, these are in general misconceptions that we've heard throughout our careers, and we are going to address them today.
Yes.
Once and for you guys to know the truth
about classical musicians. This is our life. Number one.
Bald and old and, a bit greasy.
Bold, old, greasy. So spot on. She's got it right.
Have you seen all the competitions with the 12-year-old prodigies?
I know.
They're not old. Maybe if you play so in tune, your hairline would grow back out of respect.
Yeah. Do you think it's true? I don't think so.
I think when we made a video about talent shows and the lady said that, the comment section spoke for itself.
Yeah.
What about Hilary Hahn? What about Eddy.Chen? What about Janine Jansen?
And what about you watching this?
What about us?
Yes.
I mean, we're getting old, I guess.
But the majority, I think most of us, it's a nice range of people.
No, I think you know what it is? It's because classical music has a longer career lifespan than, say, sports.
That's true.
People aren't used to seeing 60-year-old people
Soccer
still in the prime of their musical careers.
That's true.
Look at old conductors. They're 60 and they're still
Because
so active.
there's a longer career, they get better. Number two, old audiences.
Wow, this is a complicated one because yes, it is true that when you look out into the audience, you'll often see a sea of white hair.
But have you been to our concerts?
Have you? Have you?
Yes, because from what I remember, there was more colored hair than white hair. I think there's actually a wider audience out there that, not just an older audience, that enjoys classical music.
Whenever we introduce classical music to a friend of ours that's not a musician, most often than not, they're quite enthusiastic and passionate and excited to learn about it. And they love it. I remember I introduced Sibelius to Patrick.
Yeah.
It's like this rowing Aussie dude. Never touched an instrument in his life and he loved it. He still listens to it today.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, best song.
Yeah, I think it's just it's more a matter of exposure.
Yeah.
As opposed to young people don't like classical music, because that's definitely false.
Not true.
From what we've experienced at least.
Yes.
Point number 3. Classical music is boring. Or it's just relaxing music to relax and study with.
Yeah, it's so relaxing sometimes. But have you practiced 40 hours a day? That's right, you haven't. Classical music is not boring. Okay, maybe some pieces are boring. But classical music is very intricate, very delicate some places. There's
very dramatic in other places.
Yeah, dramatic. It could be crazy. It could represent different emotions, different stories, different pictures.
I think when people think classical music, they automatically think like Ave Maria, da 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 da, just like this kind of like.
And people sitting there saying,
And then meanwhile, boom, Shostakovich, freaking Symphony Number 12.
and then Mahler's like pain.
Yeah, like this guy's really having a heart attack writing his symphony.
Come on. And Bach is like, my kids all died. Last Petita. I think it's because given the technology back then compared to now as well. Back then we only had certain instruments to represent what they want to write,
That is true. Today we're freaking like hardcore synthesizers.
Yeah, you just turn it up.
For the sake of a complete argument, going the other way, modern pop music is designed to be as overstimulating as possible though. They're all like 2 minutes long.
That's true. With technology, our attention span is gone. So we have less ability to appreciate the subtle differences in classical music. That truly is a big difference if you really pay attention to it. Anyway, not dissing pop music. It's pretty cool.
Just different.
Just different. Number 4.
Musical geniuses are born, not created.
Prodigies. I wish I was a genius.
There's prodigies everywhere. Hey, like, what's the point? Different people may have been born with different amounts of giftedness.
Giftedness.
But at the end of the day, the biggest factor is still practice.
That's right.
You have to practice.
And if you don't, you'll fall behind. So you have to practice. To get better, you have to practice.
Not to mention, I don't want to say any names, but it's very interesting. The ones that are quote unquote the most talented often are not the ones that become professional musicians.
Exactly. So, moral story is
Gotta practice.
It's about the journey. Number 5. For the intellectual or wealthy.
I think the history of classical music, yes, there's definitely periods in the history where classical music was for the aristocratic class. But it's 2019. Anyone with internet access
can listen.
Maybe that's the point. We are the wealthy. And the people
that don't have internet
can
appreciate it. Number 6 is for serious people. We can get serious about the music, but
I think there's also like this image that all the great soloists are very serious.
Oh yeah, case in hand, Hilary Hahn, she's not serious at all. I mean, she's serious about music.
Very serious about music.
But in person, she's the most loveliest person ever. Hi, Hilary.
Number 7. Classical musicians hate pop music.
As illustrated before.
Oh my god, we're contradicting ourselves.
No.
I think some classical musicians hate pop music.
But not everyone.
Just because I like Bach doesn't mean I can't like BTS.
Yes.
Okay?
Come on!
My bias is Mozart and it can also be Jimin at the same time.
Exactly!
Actually, I would also argue a lot of pop idols were classically trained.
Yeah. Because guess what? You know that chord progression you're hearing? That's the stuff you learn in music theory.
Yeah.
And it's rooted from classical music.
Yeah. Yeah, it all started from
there. So technically, pop music is classical music. Maybe.
Do you think maybe in like 100 years they'll listen to like Justin Bieber and study it in music conservatory?
Classical music, 21st century, is a new type of music.
Yeah, because by then maybe music will just be like one note.
One note.
Maybe they'll inject music like straight into your brain.
Yeah, download a chip in your brain. This is what you're supposed to enjoy. Just deal with it. Number 8, it's not a real job. Say that to all the orchestral musicians out there and all the freelance musicians out there. It's not a real job.
Wow, you get to make a career out of music? You are so lucky.
No, it's because I practiced and you didn't practice. I practiced much harder than everyone else. Classical music is a job.
Alright, real talk time right here now, guys. Real talk.
I'm so hungry.
You gotta follow your dreams, alright? Don't let those haters tell you.
Follow your dreams.
You see that goal in front of you, and you practice every day.
Don't give up, guys. It is tough, but it's definitely worth it. Practice.
Number 9. Classical music is just one style. I think this is a misconception I see in people that don't understand classical music. Mm-hmm. They tend to associate it with kind of just Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, this type of sound. Classical music generally refers to a lot of periods spanning over many different nations.
It actually has a longer history than pop music.
Yeah, from 1600s to now. Compare a Corelli sonata. Corelli with Brahms.
There you go. Sonata and sonata use the same words.
Yeah.
But just look, if you look at the music carefully, it's completely changed.
Then you can, within the same composer, you can compare a violin sonata with a symphony.
It's not one style.
So there is a lot of variety to be explored, and I think that's one of the reasons why classical music is so fascinating and fulfilling. The fact that these works have stood the test of time, and the more you understand the context of these pieces, the more
you realize how different it is. And I just think it's because it's easier to box classical music in one thing.
Yeah.
Last one, classical music is dying.
Well, this is a loaded misconception.
It's dying, yeah, guys, it's dying.
The most popular interview question to all classical musicians is, hey, how do you feel about the future of classical music? If you were with us during the Kickstarter times, you would have known that we kind of pointed out that there are many things within the classical music industry.
That's not really working.
What we've learned in Two-Set, though, however, is that there's an ever-growing and massive audience of young people passionate about classical music that love it, even though they're not musicians. And there's definitely a demand in today's youth. Want something in their lives that is more substantial and deeper than, say, the pop songs that keep changing every 2 months. The next one, next one, next one. You know?
It brings a different side to enjoyment of music. It's the way it's being presented by everyone else that makes it hard for young people and people that don't even know anything about classical music to access. So you can't just expect someone to go to a classical concert and be like, don't clap there, don't do this. You're like, I'm out.
Because they'll be intimidated.
Of course you'll be intimidated. You want to naturally fit in, but it's too much to expect people to just fit in like that. Classical music is not dying, or maybe I don't know, but for sure the way it's been presented needs to change. Well, I mean, our audiences, you guys, the person watching now, hello, what are you doing? Are you a musician? Maybe you are. Maybe you're not even a musician. There are many times when non-musicians come up.
Yeah.
I don't do anything about music, but I love classical music now. I saw my first concert. I picked up an instrument. It's like, there you go.
If you look at it in traditional ways, it might look scary. But from interacting with all of you out there in real life, just as a feeling, I mean, I can't prove it. No one knows what's going to future, but I'm confident
we can do it.
We can do it. That people love it.
Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe. The more subscriptions, the more classical lovers we have.
Yeah.
And see you guys next time.